I only finished rereading this a few weeks ago and I'm already tempted to start again. So good. So good. Hello, Sophie here, and today I'm going to be bringing you my review of the Artemis Fowl series by Eoin Colfer. This is my first ever video review, so I'm not sure how this is going to go, but hopefully well. The first part of this video will be spoiler free, and then I will give plenty of warning when I'm going to be talking about this series of spoilers, so yeah. Artemis Fowl is an 8-book middle grade series following Artemis Fowl, who is a criminal mastermind and a child genius. In the first book, his father is missing and he plots to get some gold. He decides he's going to kidnap a fairy because he discovers that fairies exist and steal that fairy's gold. So that's the premise of the first book. I love this series. I really, really do. Over the 8 books, Artemis's relationship with the people, as the magical folk refer to themselves, develops and changes, and he grows as a character. I've reread these books many times. They have a very special place in my heart, and I'm going to be talking about why I love them so much today. So 4 non-spoiler reasons why I love this series. 1. Eoin Colfer's writing, and the series as a whole, is very humorous. There are moments in the series when it gets quite dark, and then he always has a way to bring it back. It is aimed at children, so it never gets too depressing. There's either his funny writing or the characters that kind of bring it back to a more of a light-hearted feel, and overall the series is just quite amusing. 2, the characters. There's a whole variety of different species and different personalities, and all of their friendships and conflicts are uniquely special. 3 is the way it blends magic and technology. The people are way ahead of humans in terms of technology, but they also have magic. That's really awesome. Eoin Colfer really thought through his magic system and how he was going to have that weave with technology, and I think it works really well. 4, it takes children seriously. A lot of stuff happens in these books. Artemis is a genius, so he's got clever plans and schemes. It's not dumbed down because it's for children, which I've known some other books to do. It just, yeah, Eoin Colfer has written this, and you know, he's really played towards the strengths, why can I not talk today? It really plays towards the strengths of a child's imagination, which is really special. So those are my non-spoiler thoughts on Artemis Fowl. You can kind of see already, I just absolutely love it. I'd highly recommend giving the first book a try if you're not sure about it. This is one of my favourites, so if you like this one, you're in good set for the rest of the books. It's just really, really fun. Really cool, awesome characters, and I would obviously highly recommend it. If you have read the books, you can continue on with this video. If you haven't, I would highly advise you to stop now, otherwise you will be spoiled for the books. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and bye. Or, if you want to be spoiled, spoilers, let's go. Where do I start with my spoilery thoughts? Book 1, I guess. Book 1. So, this is one of my favourites of the whole series. I can't choose a favourite, but I do really love Book 1. The whole time stop, I really love. That is super clever, but not as clever as Artemis's way out of it. On my most recent reread, I wasn't sure if I'd spotted a minor plot hole in this book with how the way that Artemis got them to leave the time stop was by falling asleep, and multiple people, I think Holly, Butler, and also was it Trouble, got knocked unconscious, but they didn't leave the time stop, and I wasn't really sure about that, but I looked at some forums and I'm quite happy to assume that falling asleep and being knocked unconscious are different things, and the time stop recognises that. I think, yeah, I can't find any problems with the whole time stop plot, which is really great because it's quite complicated. All the characters' introductions are really nostalgic for me. My favourite was Holly's introduction as the first female LEP officer. Can we just appreciate for a moment the leprechaun, the low elements police reconnaissance? It's just so cool. I love that. It's just like one of the many clever things that Eoin Colfer does for that series. Just that little play on words. I loved Holly's relationship with Root throughout the series and in this book. I'll talk more about the characters a bit later on. Moving on to book 2, which I love just as much. This one's really cool because the opposing sides are forced to work together, which just creates such cool dynamics with the fairies and with Artemis. And I loved all the different locations in this one. There was a lot of different places underground and overground. The antagonists, Opal Boy, and whatever the other guy was called, and Cudgeon, both of those, but really interesting characters, cool villains. The scene where Holly's finger got cut off was really intense. I'm looking down and reading my notes. And I really liked how the first 2 books wrapped up really neatly. No cliffhangers or anything like that. And then you obviously get to book 3, and there is quite a big cliffhanger in this one, with Artemis obviously getting mind wiped. Book 3, it was really interesting. I'm going to say interesting a lot in this video, I have a feeling. The Butler's storyline, how he got injured and then Holly healed him, is one of my favourites of the whole series. Just when you think Artemis and the people are maybe becoming friends, they mind wipe him. And the part where Holly is kind of hinting that Holly's going to miss him, just like, oh, I love it. In book 4, it really picks up. There's obviously a lot more at stake, as proven by Root's death at the beginning, which always makes me sad. Opal is really evil, but I also love her character as well. She's just a crazy pixie. Then in book 5, there's such a dramatic change when they go to Limbo. There's also Minerva's introduced as a character, and at the end there's all the time change where they've missed a few years. This is my least favourite of all the books. I still absolutely love it, but I found Abbott and the demons to be a bit annoying, and the whole demon, not parallel universe, but separate universe island floating thing was really clever, but I never really attached that storyline as much as any of the others. I did, however, love the aspects of Artemis's puberty in this book, and seeing Butler react to that, and seeing Artemis react to that. And yeah, Minerva was a really great addition in this book. When I first read it, I didn't like Minerva. I don't remember why. On my most recent reread, she's just another interesting child genius character. Book 6, again, really love this one. It got a bit complicated with the whole time paradox, but I think Eoin Colfer did it really well. He was brave enough to mess with time travel, and it certainly paid off in this book. Seeing past Artemis was really interesting, and Holly and Artemis's kiss was so cute. I love it. Yeah, this one is, yeah, complicated, but very good. I love Time Paradox. Book 7, I really enjoyed this book, but it was the most problematic of the series, I think. Which is funny, I can admit that it's the most problematic, but it's not my least favourite. Vinyayal's death at the beginning was sad, but considering she's been in the entire series, it wasn't nearly as sad as it could have been. I felt we needed more reaction from the characters to really appreciate how sad that was. And Turnbull, I wanted more setup, that he wasn't the I want to take over the world, destroy everything kind of villain like Opal was, and at the end he turned out just to want to be with his wife, and he was doing bad things because he thought those things would help him be with his wife. I thought we need more setup that was the type of villain he was. That would have made the book a bit better. And then finally Artemis had a control rune on him, and then it never really mentioned why that disappeared at the end. I imagine it's either because it disappeared when Turnbull died, or number 1 got rid of it, but I would have liked that to be confirmed. And book 8, the last book, I love it. It was so intense. It just didn't mess around. It just started, and it was, you know, big things were happening. Just like a big battle at Fowl Manor, which was crazy. Opal obviously needed to be the final villain in this, but we also had her get some help from the weird beings that inhabited other creatures, which was really cool. Lots of cool character moments. Poor Butler and Holly. Artemis was so mean to them when he sacrificed himself. Obviously he was doing the thing that would save them all, but it was just like months after his death, when he was dead, but super clever of Eoin Colfer to use Noble and that whole storyline to bring him back. I don't know, I loved it. I know not everyone might, but yeah, I love it all. And my favourite thing about the series is the characters. I love them all for different reasons. Because I grew up with them, I am very close to them, very attached to them all. Specifics coming up. Artemis was so clever. He had so many cool schemes, and although he changes throughout the series, I never felt like he was a different person or was straying outside of who he was, which was good. Holly was kick-ass, she was brave, she was strong, she was clever, she had morals, which I really appreciated. She did what she thought was right, whether or not she was supposed to, which I know made Root very angry. She takes risks to save other people. In the 4th book, Opal Deception, when Artemis was losing it because of the trolls, she kept calm, she controlled her emotions and his emotions, and she managed to not save them because that was mulch, but you know, control the situation. In the 5th book she did great in Limbo and saved them all multiple times. Like, where would they be without Holly? Angeline, Artemis's mother, had great character development. She started off obviously suffering from a lot of different things because Artemis Senior was missing, but when he came back she decided she wanted that whole family to turn good because it nearly made her lose her husband. And she's prim and proper, but she deeply loves her husband and her sons, and she cares about the earth, which is really cool. Opal is crazy, she's revenge obsessed, but she still feels like she's not just evil for the sake of it. I don't know if that's just me and she just is, but I can kind of understand her storyline with the whole her being mad at Foley and them being enemies when they were younger, and then him always getting everything, and then obviously Root and Holly as well getting a lot of stuff more than her. Maybe she's just evil, but I feel like she has more depth than that. Root was just such a strict, serious character, but you find out, you know, that he really does care for Holly and wants her to do well, and his interactions with Artemis, Foley and Mulch always make me laugh. Mulch, possibly my favourite character, though I can't choose. He was funny, he was smart, brave, clever. He was the king of comebacks. In Artemis Fowl and the Opal Deception, when he's rescuing them from the trolls, this is Holly. "I don't believe it," Holly explained, jumping to her feet. "You took your sweet time getting here." She seemed to be conversing with a posterior, and then, even more amazingly, the posterior appeared to answer. "I love you too, Holly," etc, etc. I don't know, I just love, that was not the best example I could have come up with, but he's always coming up with awesome comebacks, and he's the main character, as I talked about earlier, when the series might be getting a little bit too dark or depressing. He comes in like then and he just lightens the mood, and it's not like he just comes for the sake of it either, because he is always rescuing them. He has some of his own little storylines, and I loved it in book 4 when him and Holly became private detectives. Just going to mention this little book here, which is a World Book Day book, Artemis Fowl, the 7th Dwarf. This is a little short novella, focusing kind of on Mulch and the dwarves a bit more. It is entertaining if you like Artemis Fowl. I'd recommend this, but I don't feel like it fits in with the story. Like, if I remember correctly, Artemis meets Mulch for the first time in this book, and then he meets Mulch for the first time in the Arctic incident, and I don't know, it didn't, unless I'm missing something, it didn't really make sense to me. So yeah, just mention that. Let's just forget about this. Miles and Beckett, Artemis's brothers. I loved it in Atlantis Complex, when Artemis got really suspicious of them and he locked them out of his science lab and they wanted to break in. Miles spent a few days working out the code, you know, probably some genius way to do it, and then once he'd worked out the code, Beckett just dug a hole in the garden, and then trapped Miles in it, and then swapped him a ladder for the code, and it really made me laugh to see the different sides of their personalities. Miles is more like Artemis, and Beckett is more like the Butlers, which was funny. Also in Last Guardian, when they managed to defeat the berserkers for a little bit to become their own personalities. Pretty good, those toddlers. Foley is genius and he's funny. I love the storyline with Cabeline towards the end. He's great. His different interactions with all the characters were awesome, and I love how him, Holly and Julius always trust each other. In book 2, Holly and Julius didn't suspect Foley when Opal set him up, and then in book 4, when Opal set up Holly, Foley didn't believe that Holly would do something like that, and if they didn't believe in each other, the series wouldn't have continued. Opal really tried to break apart their friendship, and she did not succeed. And I have to mention Cabeline, she was super kick-ass. She wasn't even in it that much, she was just really awesome. And I liked how it mentioned that her and Holly went to the gym together. Friends! There are plenty of other characters I could mention I haven't even talked about, but I have a feeling this video is already super long, so I'm gonna end it here. So there you have my thoughts on Artemis Fowl. Did you disagree with anything I said, or have anything to add? Feel free to leave a comment down below, but be aware that people who haven't read the series might be reading the comments, so if you're going to talk about anything specific, then do give spoiler warnings, just like spoiler in capitals, and that'll be good. I hope you enjoyed this video, thank you for watching, and bye!